Okay, cool. So does anybody have any quick wins they'd love to share? I see a lot of comments coming in here. Anything exciting that's happened in the last few days? We got to keep this short because we've got a full menu here today, but I want to start off with some positive energy. So I see people coming in from, we've got, hold on, we've got going up. We got Denver, Colorado, Saskatoon, Tampa, Florida, Tempe, Arizona, Mr. Terry Samuels, Chicago, Illinois. We got some San Diegos in here. Look at these San Diegos. See, this is how we connect people. That's great. Josh Blakely, meet Casey Richardson. You guys are both in the same city. Both you guys are awesome people. We got Serena from Saskatoon, Austin, Texas, Charlotte, Brooklyn, New York. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. Is it supposed to be Brooklyn? And we got Boston. Can't do that accent. Puerto Rico, Ontario, Alabama, different countries, different states, different cities all over the place. It's awesome to see all you guys on here. So who has some wins that they want to share? There's got to be some winners out there.
I have a win.
What you got, Canary Canary?
So one of my clients, which is in the electrical field, just is adding a new business. He's generated $4 million last year. So I've had this client for the last 3.5 years. So I'm excited to build up his second business.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. It's always great to get that kind of expansion revenue, and it's a lot easier to grow the revenue on an existing client to kind of like acquire more services from an existing client that already know, like, and trust you than to try to land a new one. So that's fantastic there. What else do we have here? Any other wins before we jump into it?
I've got one, Patrick. Another successful reactivation campaign for a duct cleaning company that worked tremendously well.
That's fantastic. Paul, I'd love to get with you after the call and maybe just do a quick session that we can share with the group. And maybe there's some takeaways that other people can employ and do these campaigns. Because I've heard you now at least 2 or 3 times mentioning the success from this. And as you know, this community is all about giving back and trying to have impact, man. So I'd love to have you share some of that and break it into its own session if you're open to it. So, but congrats on another successful one.
Yep, sounds good.
Awesome. Okay. All right, cool. Unless I see someone putting their hand up or speaking up, we're going to jump into it because we've got some special people on here today, guys. So if you guys haven't been to one of our events, it's kind of like hard to explain. I was just talking to some of the speakers before we went public into Gen Pop here in the general population here about our events. And until you've actually felt it, it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain what it is. So I know we have some speakers on here, but I love to start out with a couple people that were at our last event. We're going to move into the speakers in just a minute. And each one of these people, guys, what I learned, well, let me just like back up. When I first did the first event, Jeff and I were talking, and there maybe was like some imposter syndrome going on. And I was thinking, like, how am I going to get speakers to come to these events? Like, what, like, I'm going to ask these people and I'm going to, like, how do I convince them? And then I realized almost everybody I asked said yes, with the exception of Amy Ball, who is always got a million things going on. And it's real, like, she's a popular human being. So it's hard to like get her to commit. I'm trying to set up my plans with her right now for 2026 because that's the kind of schedule that she has. But I learned it was easy to get speakers to come. And the second event that we did, I think maybe we had too many speakers. They were all fantastic. They were amazing. But what we decided this time was we're going to limit the speakers and we're going to bring in some very heavy hitters and we're going to give them a little bit longer sessions so that it's not so overwhelming with what we're doing. And that's what we've done. We've handpicked these people. So the theme of our event is really going to be on prospecting and sales. What I've learned is that most people, their agency problems can often be solved by more money in the agency, right? When you have more money coming in your agency, you can start to solve who, not how problems, right? If you're not great at operations and you're trying to solve that problem, well, all of a sudden, if there's money coming in, then we can hire an operator. We can hire somebody who is fantastic at operations. And maybe that's not our wheelhouse. So this really is a huge unlock for agencies. And from what I've seen from the last 6 or 7 years of coaching agency owners, this I think has been one of the biggest struggles. So we have themed this event, and the people we have chosen, we brought them in for very specific reasons because they're fantastic at these pieces. Through the fortune that I've had to speak at a number of SEO events, and just being in this industry for a long time, I've made a lot of connections, and we've had goodwill. I think we've used that to leverage amazing relationships. Of all the relationships, we've chosen these people particularly to bring them in. So that is what we have coming for you guys. Last time at last year's or the event that we had in July, we had Brian Hansen, who was the one of the head of marketing for Tony Robbins. We had who else do we have there? We have Monik Bond. Monik will actually be speaking at this event, but he's actually flying. He's in the air right now, flying from Mexico from his New Year's vacation back to South Florida. Monik Bond is probably the most talented SEO person that I have gone deep with, and just really just the way his brain works is amazing. Throw in the chat if you guys have experienced Monik Bond, and I'd love to just hear some of your experience, what that's like, because a lot of you guys haven't done that before. Monik, we met at Traffic and Conversion Summit about 1.5 years ago, and Monik, if you guys have ever seen that technology where you're going to purchase a seat at a concert or a game, and you can see what the view looks like from your seat, Monik was competing in SEO versus Ticketmaster, and he created that technology and he sold it to Ticketmaster. So that technology comes from this brain. That he's been applying this that brain to SEO for a decade. One of the people that has the resources to run the highest level SEO tests that I've seen. Just millions and millions of records of data. So he is going to come and speak at this event as well. He won't be able to show up. You can see a couple people talking about Monik there. He's also a software founder. Okay, we also had Chris Evans at the last event. If any of you guys know, I think Chris Evans was at one time running 2 9-figure businesses and multiple 8-figure businesses. He was the co-founder of Traffic and Funnels. Huge brain. We have Chris Moore, who is, I believe, on this call somewhere. Chris spoke at our last event. Chris is part owner of a huge business acquisition and equity coaching. He will be at this event as he's a partner in our program as well. So I would love to, I'm just going to pull out a couple people. I'd love to hear some of your guys' experiences. And we'll keep it short because we want to make sure we have time for our amazing speakers to kind of share. But I just want to set the vibe with what you guys experienced last time. Josh Blakely, I think you were at our last event, were you not?
Yeah, I was there last year in August.
Can you go deeper than telling us you were there? What was that like for you? Did you enjoy that event? Were there some takeaways there? What would you say to somebody that may be considering it?
Yeah, look, it was probably 3 key takeaways is kind of what you touched on just now, the community aspect there. It was just great to get everyone together, and some of the people there, I've been in accountability groups over the last few years. Meeting them in person was awesome, but there's been a significant kind of shift in how I've ran my agency back from the August there, just from really specific conversations with people there have totally shifted things. And then the speakers there as well, not only do you get to hear from them, but you actually get to have conversations with them afterwards and really kind of get specific feedback on your situation as well as just helping other people. It is it really is a mastermind.
Yeah. So Josh, the sneaky strategy that we have to get our speakers to stay and hang out, because a lot of them, when you bring in high level people, they a lot of times they want to fly in and fly out. But here's the strategy: is you just get an awesome mansion, right? And then you fill it, you get bartenders and all kinds of stuff like this. And then amazingly, these people, they want to spend more time and hang out. And that is awesome because they bring more value. So Josh, thank you. Thank you for sharing some of that. I'd love to, I think I saw Serena on here. Serena, are you with us? There she is in the red room. Serena, how's it going?
Good.
I know, Serena, you have this amazing story. And I'm just going to share it because like, and this will give you guys a little bit more of a footprint about Serena. So Serena was telling me last time when she came to the event, this was after the event. I don't think she could have said this on day one, but she said she didn't really want to go to the event, but her husband had kind of pushed her, and her hand was kind of shaking as she opened the doorknob to come in the house. This is outside of her comfort zone. And I think you said, "Hey, I felt so welcomed." And then at the end of the event, you were sitting in the airport, and for the first time ever, you approached a stranger and struck up a conversation, and like you had some confidence. I know that this is out of your comfort zone. Even when I said like, "Hey, Serena, you want to jump on the call with us?" Like, she was nervous. So let's give Serena some support. But I'd love to hear, what was your experience like a little bit from our last event?
Yeah, you kind of summed it up. Walking into a room full of people and having one-on-one conversations, to me, is totally terrifying. My husband wanted me to go, and I came up with excuses. I was like, "Oh, I'm booked for a wedding that weekend. There's no way I can get out of it, and we can't afford it." He was like, "We can find the money. See if you can get out of that wedding." And so I did, and I went, and I was so terrified, and the value that was delivered was incredible. And to back up, the very first thing that Patrick said on our first morning was, "I want all of you to make a commitment to get out of your comfort zone." And I took that seriously, and I did, and it was really scary, but and even talking right now to you guys is like, this is not what I like to do.
Appreciate you.
But yeah, I got out of my comfort zone. I had some amazing conversations. The sessions were mind-blowing. I learned so much. And yeah, like Patrick said, I was sitting in the airport. I went and sat down at a table in a restaurant, and then I was like, "No, I'm going to continue this, getting out of my comfort zone, and I'm going to go sit at the bar and see if I can find a stranger to talk to." So that was a pretty huge transformation for me personally. And then since then, I've done a pretty huge transformation of my agency, based on everything that I learned at the conference. And I've also, like, last few months, I've been going through some personal issues that have affected my business, and I reached out to Patrick, and he gave me half an hour of it. Sorry. He gave me half an hour of his time and really helped me refocus what I was doing and how I needed to change my how I was letting my personal life affect my business, and what I needed to change in my personal life, to really get more focused. And it's just that community, like I felt comfortable reaching out to someone who knows more than me and who could help me through that tough time. And I really feel like I'm a part of a really supportive community, even though I haven't been on the calls lately. Like I said, I've been going through some stuff.
Yeah, Serena, it's like, appreciate you, first of all, being vulnerable and sharing your experience here. I know, like, why I wanted you to do this. Like, two reasons. Like, one, there's other people out there that are just like you, that are afraid. And I want them to know what this process goes. Second, like, every time we get out of our comfort zone, it gets bigger. I love having you on here. I love seeing you, like, push the envelope. I also noticed when we released the tickets, you were like one of the first people to sign up, which, like, really warmed my heart. It's awesome that, like, whether you have the ability to turn into the community for the calls. It's 3 p.m. Eastern. Like, we're running businesses, we have families, we have other stuff going on. Stuff's going to come up. I know that you're watching the replays because you comment on things and you reference stuff from the replays to me in our messages. So I'm so excited that you're coming back to this event. I know that you're bringing somebody else with you. One of the things that I've noticed is the amount of people that return to our events after coming makes us feel like, hey, we're doing something right here. I thank you so much for sharing some of your story. I know that it's going to hit home for somebody that is like, should I go? I'm scared. I don't know what I'm getting into. She was in the same spot as you guys. And, if we want things to change, we got to have the courage to make the change. And I commend you for doing that. Sounds like your husband was instrumental in that as well. So it's fantastic to see you coming back and to have you on here sharing. I want to make sure that we got time for our speakers. So I'm going to go through some of our speakers and we'll go back to some more of the attendees later on. But thank you for sharing that. I think that's so powerful, Serena. And I'm so excited to see you here in, like, I guess 29 days or something. And yeah.
And you mentioned I'm bringing someone, and she's actually in the call, Claire Shell. She's here.
All right, Claire. Yeah, welcome. Welcome to the group, Claire. I see you over there smiling.
Hello.
Hey, it's good to have another person coming in from Saskatoon. Claire, really excited to connect with you. I want you to have a similar event to Serena, where it's just like immense amount of value. So you can kind of see the engagement and stuff that we have in here. We have an awesome community that just kind of like opens up its arms to people. We definitely have a vibe, right? We don't like rude people and stuff like that. That doesn't exist in our community. I think we shape them. If they come in like assholes, they leave like nice people, right? So really excited to have a friend of Serena's, a friend of, I think anyone that got to spend time with Serena last time, any friend of hers is going to be a friend of ours. So really happy to have you in the community. But let's go over, I know we have some people on schedules here. So I want to start off with Ryan Cook. Ryan is somebody that I actually don't know super well, but I've heard the legend of Ryan Cook a few times from Mr. Chris Moore. Is Ryan? There he is. Okay. So guys, Chris Moore is a big part of our community, and anybody that's interacted with him realized the breadth of his knowledge. And when Chris says, like, hey, this is one of the smartest marketers that I've ever met in my life, for me, that carries a tremendous amount of weight. And that's what he said about Ryan. So when he said that, I was like, yeah, get that guy to the events, whatever we have to do. So Ryan, so excited to have you come into this event, man, and get to know you more.
Me too. I'm stoked, man. I'm excited about not being an asshole anymore. So
yeah,
I think that'll come off really well. So no, I'm really flattered and excited. I love the vibe. I think it's an opportunity for me to kind of build on my brand as well too. So very much appreciate it.
Awesome, Ryan. Where are you tuning in from?
So I'm actually in Parker, Colorado, which is just southeast of Denver.
Okay. I know we've got a number of people on here from Denver. So potential connections, like the local connections, we already have so much in common if we're on this call together, right? And so I always like to try to create those. Ryan, can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. Gosh, I don't even know where to start. So as far as like agency is concerned and home services and things like that, 2018, I took a job with an agency called WIT Digital, and some of you may have heard of WIT, where I just took a job as an SEO specialist. I had been a digital strategist for like the 4 or 5 years prior to that, working side by side, traditional media sellers selling digital, and then decided I didn't want to carry quota anymore. So took a big pay cut and started to wanted to do the things that I had been selling for the past few years. So I took a job as an SEO specialist, built up my chops around that. Owner of the company realized I was good with talking to our clients and talking bigger picture strategy type conversations with them, and then moved me into a new position, a client strategist. And then I moved into a director of client strategy with them, where I had a team under me as well. So my role was to go in and understand growth aspirations and to develop strategies to get them there, for lack of better words, right? And so, I mean, it wasn't just digital; it was omni-channel. And so we saw a lot of success there. After leaving Wit Digital, I actually went to a pure play and worked directly for a direct brand called All Hours Plumbing out of Salt Lake City. So I was their director of marketing. And what I did with them was I pulled all their outsourced marketing that was placed in vendor seats in-house. And so I built basically a marketing agency within the four walls of that company. We grew from 18 to 22 million in under a year. So we saw a lot of tremendous success, a lot of automation that helped kind of make that happen, that reality happen. And then most recently, I'm now with Dunzo. Dunzo was founded as the COO. Dunzo was founded on all automation, so business automations, making systems talk to each other, so on and so forth. There's an opportunity to build a marketing agency side of it. I don't know many of you, if you know Brandon Vaughn, he is the owner of Dunzo and several other companies as well. So he and I contracted on a 1099 basis, and I basically proved to him that I knew what I was talking about. And so we pulled over some AdWords stuff from other vendors and blew them out of the water. So now I've got the runway here to bring all the rest of those companies on, as well as build out the complete marketing side of the agency. So hyper focused on growth, business growth within the four walls of Dunzo, but also utilizing now, as many of you probably tune into this stuff too, how is AI going to help me increase my profit margins is kind of really where my head's been at lately. So it's been a really fun journey, Patrick. It really has. It's been, especially with the home service industry, these guys want to get it, but they don't have to, and it's really a great, subset of guys to talk to that can be humble, right? They sit back and if they can trust me to help navigate them through the murkiness of digital and just marketing in general, I can gain someone for life. So it hasn't come without a lot of background work. So I guess that's how I am, or where I ended up.
Yeah, I think that nobody gets to where you are and has the success that you've had without kind of going through the paces for a long time, right? Like you're not on your first set of sneakers. You worn out a lot of shoes on this road on the way. We've gotten punched in the mouth a bunch of times, made mistakes, and learned from it, right? So this for somebody that's been in, it sounds like you've been in this 2024, if I did the math right, is your kind of 11th year inside of this agency space, right? And if you guys think about how the world has changed in the last 11 years, Ryan's kind of like, and don't take this the wrong way, because I'm in the same boat as you, is like, we've got some like dinosaur traits to us, because a lot of agency owners are 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old. When you have somebody that has been at this point in time, you have somebody that's been in for like a decade plus, you've seen a lot of different things, and it gives you tremendous perspective on, the way the world has changed around, the way the internet has changed. Like, I mean, AI is changing things faster now over the last like year and a half or so. So there's a tremendous amount of experience that a lot of times makes up the foundation of somebody that's in your spot. So and I think every speaker on here is going to share some of that trait, is like, we've been through this a ton. So Ryan, if you could just talk a little bit about what are we going to talk about at the event? What are you going to bring to these people, which is, mostly agency owners that have clients that are kind of in, the majority of the home service space?
Yeah, I think I kind of touched on it earlier. It's how do we increase profit margins with automation and AI, right? And how do we be as most efficient as possible? So it's going to be centered around agency growth, utilizing old school legacy type setups versus what I'm seeing now. And how do you use the pros and cons of both to make sure that you're growing your company, but also staying sane and at the same time?
Yeah, that's fantastic, man. I think throw in the chat, who's excited to hear from Ryan helping you? Like, look, first of all, he's getting hired into a company as kind of like I think you said the CMO that's doing 18 million. And then, going from 18 to 22 in 1 year, that's a sizable jump. A lot of people giving some awesome feedback. I want to switch and bring Chris Moore on for just a second, because I know Chris knows you, better than maybe anyone else on this call. Chris, why was it that you felt that Ryan should be at this event?
It's actually a little bitter. I tried to hire Ryan. He didn't mention that a minute ago, but I headhunted him, sort of tried to hire him for my marketing agency, multi-million dollar agency I had several years ago. And he was almost there. And then he went back and his boss like doubled his pay and he stayed, which I think was smart, by the way. But one day I got a call from Brandon. He's like, who's the best home service marketer you know? And I said, I don't know him really well, but I almost hired him one time. And we went and like found him on the website and he reached out to him directly. I just remember our conversations, Ryan, were so powerful around like what you were doing specifically for home service business owners, local SEO, just all the things that were coming out, how you guys were growing all those businesses. I think we had a shared client. That's how we got to know each other briefly. I was consulting for one of your clients. And when Patrick, when you say like, who's the best person to speak to this group, who you got, I try to deliver every time. So that was who I came up with. And I had to twist his arm. No, I'm just kidding. He was excited to hear about the opportunity and he's excited to do it. So, but yeah, that's what I thought of. And I do nothing but coach marketers almost all the time and salespeople. And when I see somebody who's sharp, I know it. So that's why
and you know, Patrick, I don't feel like I bring anything unique to the market, and apparently I do. So I think it's about figuring that out and exploiting it a little bit for you guys. You know, it's really about that omni-channel approach, but also putting myself in what's right for the customer. So I don't really care so much about what's right for me. I just care about what's right for them. So if I'm making a budget recommendation or a new channel recommendation, it's because I really freaking think that's going to work for them.
Right.
It's not bullcrap. You know, it's thought out, it's methodical, it's got data behind it. And I can honestly say now that Chris, you mentioned that there was not a whole lot of competition providing that in the market when I was doing that back then.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's easy to win business when you're authentic, you care about the client more than the money, and you're just doing the right thing. So yeah, got a lot to learn from this guy.
Awesome. Yeah, I love the obvious humility that is like built in. You guys can just kind of like feel it where he says, I'm not doing anything unique. Hey, you know, when we're like deep into the details and we're focused on what we're doing, we can sometimes forget what our other clients or what the competition of the prospects, what they're trying to pick between and the options that are out there. And when we get on a call with somebody who's really tuned in with this, like they become our client every time, right? Because we are a unicorn in that situation where there is this person that's putting them first. Like that's not common. It maybe feels like it shouldn't be common, or it should be common, but unfortunately, you know, from the roster of clients that we've brought into our agency, that wasn't their past experience with any of the people that they were working with before us. So I think it is very unique. And Chris, I want to kind of like circle back to you again now. Ryan, thank you so much. I'm so excited to have you at this event and hang out with you, especially after hearing a little bit more about your story and kind of feeling your vibe a little bit. I think it's going to work really well with this community.
Awesome. I appreciate the time, Patrick. I'm sorry that I had to jump off. I do need to go talk to another client. So I appreciate the time.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. So thank you for jumping on here.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you soon. Yeah.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Let's go back over to Chris Moore. Chris, let's get an intro from you. I know a lot of people in this community know who you are. I know a lot of people maybe they haven't seen you so much, and let's just kind of like let's set the record straight. Chris Moore is a partner in our company for the events and for our coaching program, Rank Masters. Chris and I met at a high-level mastermind. When was that, Chris? 2 years ago now, I think, maybe just over 2 years.
Yeah, right at 2 years ago. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know Chris has a celebration of the anniversary of our meeting every year, which I'm flattered. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. But Chris, we were in traffic and funnels together. For me, I personally didn't take away a ton from that, like the information in that mastermind, but I did from our relationship, our friendship. And I think this is a big part of like one of the potential benefits for you guys out there is like making these connections, these friendships. This is where it started for he and I. But Chris, what's your background? How can you help these people with their agencies and their business?
Yeah, so my background, definitely agency owner for a while, took a buyout in 2021. I've taken buyouts from a couple different companies now. And growing the business over many years has always been my specialty, business growth, scaling the teams, scaling the customer acquisition, multiple customer acquisition sources. Lately, I have ownership in a suite of companies, like a portfolio, quite a few. And
What does that mean, Chris? How many is it? Quite a few.
I'm a part of 3 roll-ups. Roll-ups are essentially when we go out and we're buying companies in certain industries or serve a common customer. So I have 3 different roll-ups. And then I'm currently the president and CEO over a roll-up of 7 companies, mostly in the ed tech, online education, and professional services space. But my job every day is to essentially business development, business growth strategy, and then I execute. I have a C-suite below me that I work with directly, and then they go out and execute my vision. So that's kind of where we are right now. But for you guys, like what I do best, and it's a little different type of marketing agency than I came from. I came from a marketing agency where we focused on medical aesthetics, cash pay, elective medicine, high ticket, very, very sophisticated audiences. Some of them were very transactional, where we'd have to have a lot of foot traffic to like a med spa versus maybe a plastic surgeon. They can do a lot fewer surgeries and make more money. But focusing on extremely high intent leads outside of the Google platform was kind of my specialty. We did a lot of SEM, PPC, of course, SEO, a lot of web design, things like that. But when I got my hands on that company, we're at three employees. When I left, we had 70. The company I just 10x'd in the last 18 months, we had 3 employees. Now we have 80. So my specialty is not just one part of it. It's actually building the entire company, very redundant, very strong, and scaling it quickly, and focusing on things like MRR and things that allow you to have predictable success. So my biggest strength, though, Patrick's probably just finding the right people to be on my team. But you got to bootstrap and get your revenue to where you need it before you can start hiring. So yeah, but at this event specifically, I've got a couple things that I'm going to talk about. I don't know if you want to talk about it now or just leave it to be a surprise, but
let's hit on it now a little bit. Let's tell people like what are you what value are you gonna bring to this event? Like I already know, right? I know that the value you bring is tremendous, and I'd love to hear it from anyone that was at the last event or has experienced Chris. Let's hear a little bit about what he's brought to you guys and how he's helped you in the chat for those who don't know him. But Chris, what are you going to bring to the event for us in February?
Well, I don't want to bring any like prospecting tactics or anything like that. I think there's a lot better people to do that specifically for your niche. What I'm going to do is teach you 2 things. One is a really magnetic strategy, so you can have a lot more leads coming directly to you rather than going out and finding and creating opportunity, and give you an entire playbook for that. Number 2, we're going to focus on advanced consultative selling, because that's where I think we've done the best work inside the group together. I think Spencer and I have chatted a little bit more about this than everybody else, but the idea of when you get these opportunities, how do you close them at the highest rate possible? I think that's where I want to focus most of the time. And it's just the little tiny things that make the biggest amount of difference, but kind of go into a much deeper level conversation around that. Yeah.
Chris, what experience do you have in coaching salespeople?
Thousands. So that's one of the things I've been doing for a long, long time. I kind of lucked into it. I was always great at sales, but I ended up being a sales coach and trainer once it became a necessity, because just like you all, I had hundreds, close to 1,000 marketing clients, big agency. And we kept hearing these leads suck all the damn time. These leads suck. And that pisses me off just like it should everybody else, right? And you realize that it's not necessarily your leads, it's that they don't know what to do with them. So out of necessity, we started solving the next problem for all of our clients. And we started teaching all of their workforces how to sell, how to reach out to leads, how to talk to them on the phone correctly. And we had to build out entire courses and train literally thousands of people how to sell expensive things that people don't need over the phone from lead generation. Otherwise, we would lose all our customers. So that's what we've been focused on for many, many years, and then branched over. I'm in the high ticket coaching space now. And I actually, by the end of January, I'll own a high ticket sales coaching business. It's almost about to close. I also am closing next week on a $7 million real estate coaching business. Same thing, where it's all high ticket. And I think sales is the common denominator for everyone. You can get leads, but if you can't close them, it's very difficult. And same thing with your clients. If you get your clients leads, but you can't, it's not your job to help them close them, but if you can't help them solve the next problem, you're going to have retention issues. So I think I just want to give you a lot more clarity. In the last event, if you were there, I talked a lot more about becoming professional, being a pro, not just with being marketing, but marketing strategy consulting, learning how to really shine and be like a superpower or super marketer to your clients, where they want to work with the smartest person in the room, and you're helping them in so many ways, not just the one. So we may touch on that as well. Sorry if that was long-winded.
No, it's, I love it, man. I love you giving people the context and the perspective of why they should listen to you. And like, I'm bringing you here, and maybe there's built-in trust because I think most of these people on here know me and trust me, but it's another to hear your story and hear like why you're relevant, right? So, you guys, Chris is has become one of my closest friends. He's somebody special, and it's huge heart, big part of like just kind of fits into this community like a glove. So I'm so excited to have you here and have the people that haven't experienced the brilliance of Chris Moore at this next event, and kind of like see what this is about and why you're a cornerstone, have become a cornerstone to this community. So that's fantastic. So Chris, stay tuned in here and like help me through this call with questions and pulling stuff out. But let's go over to one of my first inspirations in the digital marketing space. I was at an event for another coaching program that many of you guys maybe were familiar with. And there's this woman that's up on stage, and I still remember the first story that she told about it. It was about this God, Amy, help me out here. It was about there was a guy, and he was helping his like paraplegic son run a marathon, and she tied it into business. It was one of the best speakers. And I was like, man, this person has something special. Her ability to communicate and also the business savvy. And in a world that, in my opinion, we need more strong female leaders in this industry, because it has been so male dominated. You go to a lot of these events. I'm really thrilled to finally have Amy Ball come in to speak at our events. I know we've been dancing around it for a long time, but Amy, talk to us. How are you?
Yo, Patrick, I'm good. Yeah, and I've known Patrick for a long time. This is great. And I love seeing Paul Meyer's shining face on there. He's one of my favorite human beings on the planet. Yeah, so I'm excited to come. We've been kind of going back and forth on all this. And sorry, y'all, I had to turn my computer because it was like the lights of the heavens started shining in here. I guess the sun moved. I don't know. But I'm really excited. Obviously, I think this group has a lot to offer. Patrick's an epic human being. I love that he puts everything into everything he does. And just there were certain comments that were made just from the start of this. You know, the fact that Patrick even mentioned about him having imposter syndrome when they did their first event. And then is it Selena like sharing her challenge with even coming to the event. And then I was writing all this stuff down. I think it was it Ryan who commented about like, you have to build trust with people. All this, the fact that people are talking about, I had imposter syndrome. I didn't even want to come. I could barely get through the door. And hey, we have to build trust, tells me that that's exactly the right place that I need to be in too, because you're my kind of people. So that's, what do you want me to say, Patrick? Do you want me to give an overview of what you're doing?
Yeah, well, we'll just go back and forth a little bit. Thank you for that. Thank you for all the compliments. Like, I think, like I said, you were hand selected to be a part of this, because I know that you're going to bring tremendous value, and your vibe is just going to match up perfectly for what we want. But Amy, talk to us a little bit about your background. What have you gone through and kind of the evolution of Amy to get here? Because I know there's been, like me, we had like, hey, this is my career path. Whoop, 90-degree turn. Let's go back this way. You've kind of like gone in different directions. And from my opinion, we have this common characteristic where I'm just not going to do stuff I don't want to do. Like I'm going to follow my heart, and I'm going to do stuff that matters to me. And I don't care. You know, I took a pretty massive pay cut, just like Ryan said he did. I took a pretty massive pay cut going from playing poker for a living to being a software engineer, but I don't care. I was not enjoying it. I'm going to do what I want. And I've seen that same thing in you, but I'd love to hear some of your history that's led you to this spot.
Yeah, so I'm not going to bore you guys with the shit show that is Amy Ball. However, what I will tell you is that I started off in corporate, like a lot of us do. I worked there for about 15 years. I was running software sales for a Fortune 1000 company, covered the whole country. It was great, made lots of money, realized Amy Ball is never going to climb the corporate ladder, and I'm always going to be a cog in the machine. So got into digital marketing, took a course, same with Patrick, just like a lot of you have done. You know, you buy the course, you learn the skill, and then you go and implement it. And my little side hustle grew pretty quickly. In a matter of about 18 months, I think I quit my full-time job, started going all in on that, got into software, then it morphed into online courses, coaching, consulting. Did that for a long time. And what I found though, and I'm a systems person. I don't like to do the organization, but I understand the way processes and systems are designed, which really helps me. But what I realized after being on the other side of the table as a coach, as a consultant, it was really hard for me to see people come into these programs knowing that the process that I designed was on point and that it worked and that it was successful, and then I had done it myself and still see them fail. And it literally broke my heart. So I said, okay, what am I doing wrong? Like, what are they doing wrong? What's going on here? What's the underlying factor? And so I went back into my, treasure trove of processes and knowledge and everything else. And like Paul Myers commented down there, my behavioral skills from the almost FBI. And what I realized is that what people miss when they're going through this stuff is where they can make the biggest impact with the least amount of change using what they already have at their disposal. So what I mean by that is people have, somebody said it earlier, they're just authentic. Like you have skills that innately you were born with that you are not using effectively. And what happens is we see the guy teaching the process and we try to emulate him. And we go in and we say, okay, well, Patrick is super successful. So I'm going to do exactly what Patrick said, and I'm going to do it exactly like Patrick. But you're like Amy Ball personality. So guess what? Patrick's style and suave isn't going to work for you. You're just not going to look genuine, and people aren't going to trust you. So what I started looking into was, what does the process look like for people to better understand who they are, why they do the things they do, and how to effectively use their strengths in order to make more money and achieve success faster. So my take on this is, in an Amy way, how do I get rid of all these bullshit excuses I keep making for myself, quit spending all this money on stuff I don't need, and getting distracted with the shiny objects so I can just talk to the people who actually want to pay me money, who I want to continue to do business with for the long term, and aren't going to complain about my leads and my prices. Can anybody relate? Yeah. Oh, look, it's raising my hand for me. So that's kind of what I started to do. So what we did is we created this hero habit, and it's pretty invasive. I've tested it out. I've done a lot of research. I had a lot of people trying it out and me, experimenting on them like little guinea pigs. But what we look at, there's 4 types of primary heroes. There's another 16 that we can go into, but we're not going to do all that in this session. And they're primarily hotshot, energizer, the rock, which is short for bedrock, and an observer. And here's the thing. If you are, or we all are, you're battling in this cutthroat digital world. Skills are great. Platforms are powerful, but many times you guys are getting lost in the noise. And like I said earlier, you're chasing clients, but they're not seeing your true value. And so it becomes not just about your skills or your process, but about how you're presenting it. And I think Chris mentioned it about, sales strategies and understanding who you're talking to, how you need to approach them and everything else. But it's also about understanding you. I'm going to give you an example real quick. The hot shot. Paul Myers is actually a hot shot, by the way, just throwing that out there. These are your people who they're aggressive, they're ambitious, they go all in, they get all the things and they're like, I am totally doing this. Like, I will work my ass off to get results. But sometimes what happens is the approaches, those high octane, fast moving strategies, they don't hit home with some of your clients. Whereas if you embrace that hotshot style and you understand how to balance that assertiveness with strategies that for prospecting that are perfect for you, your client base is going to shoot up, because what's going to happen is you're going to stop burning yourself out doing the shit that just doesn't work because of how you're wired. Like you are literally wired a certain way. You can start doing more of what does work, and you can become discerning when you're making decisions about your business. So perfect example. I'm running this business. I see this cold email marketing strategy, and I am like, this is great. It's working for all these people. I read the testimonials. I am buying it. What happens? I get the freaking thing and I put it up on the shelf. Why? Because based on my behavioral type, I'm never going to use it. Like, I can make myself do it. I might have the perseverance to push ahead, but eventually that's going to burn out. So there's a lot of different things that you really have to understand about yourself that are going to be crucial for you being successful in the long run and avoiding all the shit that's going to take you off course. So what we're going to be talking about during the event in Orlando is really not only like self-awareness and woo-woo and fluff and oh, go journal. Like, it's not going to be that. It's going to be, I can promise you, you're going to know your hero type by the time you leave. You're going to know how to blueprint a specific prospecting strategy based on what your strengths are and what you can actually tolerate to do on a daily basis. You're going to know, I'm going to show you how to use AI to build your ideal audience. So if you have done those little worksheets where it's like, oh, where does your audience hang out? Tell me about them. Like, this is so great. And you make these educated guesses, but they don't always work out the right way when they go with your strategies. We're going to get around that, and we're going to design the ideal audience, not only around their perfect type, but around yours too. So that way, when you're building these relationships, they're actually melding together. So that way, when you walk away from all this, not only are you going to know all about yourself, maybe a little bit more than you wanted to in the first place, but you're also going to know how to build better, long-lasting connections without burning yourself and your business out. So that way you can get where you want to be fast.
I'm excited. I want the event to be here sooner after that. There's like, I've been through some of this with you, and I learned a ton the first time, and I'm super excited because what I've learned from coaching is like, where we struggle is often not the tactical stuff. It's the mental side of things, and not understanding who you are and how to approach other people and kind of remain authentic to yourself. It's something that I can't teach people that, and to have somebody that can come in here and show them, guys, this is going to be special for you guys to be able to get. This is a lifelong skill. This is something that's going to serve you really well in business, but it's going to serve you in all your relationships. It's a relationship building skill. And this is the cornerstone of the sales. And you're not going to grow your business above your own ability. Like I don't know if any of you guys have heard of the law of the lid. Like, whoever the owner of the business is, it's not going to grow beyond their capabilities, beyond their personal development. This is a big unlock for a lot of you guys, for people that have been in business for a little while, and you feel like you're kind of locked into a box. This is a big piece. And like, I see it in myself. I hired a performance coach recently, right, to help me kind of like uncrack my own stuff. This is along those same lines. There's a reason that the best performers in the world have somebody like Amy on their side to help educate them and like position things so that they can execute within their own capabilities to the best of their ability. So Amy, so happy to have you here this time. Amy's also somebody that is like fantastic. She's a ton of fun, right? Like, you can see pieces of it here. She's not afraid to cuss, right? She's going to get in there. She's going to have a lot of fun. She laughs. She tells jokes. A lot of you guys have experienced Amy before. And I think you're going to make this event better by having you there. So I'm so excited. Amy, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So, yeah. And Paul Meyer says she will give you shit and call you on your bullshit. Yeah, that I attest to. Awesome. So, all right. So I'm going to keep moving here. I'm going to go over to one of our next speakers here. I'm going to go over to Mr. Terry Samuels. Terry Samuels is another guy who's kind of like an what we could call an OG in the space. He's been around for a long time. For those of you that are kind of deep into the high level SEO groups, Terry is a leader within those groups. He's also the founder of SEO Spring Training, which happens every year in April, and that is out in Scottsdale. Is it Scottsdale or is it?
Yeah,
Yep, Scottsdale,
Yeah.
Scottsdale, Arizona. This is my first time going to the spring training, but whenever I get asked to speak at an event, I kind of do a little bit of research to find out what that event is like. And I've been very pleasantly surprised to hear how people describe Terry's events. He really goes all out. This is something that is close to my heart. If anyone has been to one of our events, this is what we do. We try to over deliver for everyone that goes there. And I think Terry's doing the same thing. I know for the speakers out there, I think he's taking us on like ATVs. He's given us a room, taking us to a baseball game where we have like a press box and like just all this stuff. That type of attitude is not like people don't compartmentalize that when they go to an event. They bring it with them everywhere they go. And I was thrilled to have somebody that has this kind of like breadth of SEO knowledge, this agency experience, as well as that kind of like attitude. So Terry, welcome, man. I'm thrilled to have you.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here. So glad you asked me to come. I mean, I don't know. My big thing is, and we'll talk more a little bit about it. And the whole thing is, I want to learn how to build my agency up more. So I'm just as excited, if not more, to come than you guys are. So
awesome. Terry, talk to us a little bit about your background. I know that you had like you got your whole family that's kind of like a part of this business too. But like, where did you like how did the road lead you here?
Well, this is mine and my wife's third business together, 22 years. And when we were at one time back before the real estate crash, we were the largest house flippers in Phoenix. So we were flipping a lot of houses. We had 2 construction companies. I actually came from a software background before that, just building up, more intranet type stuff because internet wasn't that popular yet. So I was building portals for employees to get into and stuff like that. And when the real estate market crashed, I kind of went back into what I thought would be software development. And come to find out, I was a Dreamweaver CSS guy. I'm still a Dreamweaver CSS guy. But after about a year getting my ass kicked by everybody doing websites in a weekend, I learned WordPress and basically just started back in the development game. My wife came on because I can't design shit. So she came on with my daughter and they run the web design, web development side. And then me and my 2 sons, who've been with me since they were 14 and 16, run with me on the SEO marketing side. Actually, yesterday was our 14th anniversary for our maid agency, Solterra. And like you said, I do SEO Spring Training, which is a big conference in April. It's about 200 people. And then we do masterminds a couple times throughout the year in different places around the country. And I also own SEOuniversity.net. One of my specialties is forensic SEO. So I'm really into the data. I really like to find out what happened, why it happened, how to fix it. And in the process of doing that, I found out that 95% of the stuff I was seeing and the problems was all around on-page. So I'm an on-page specialist. So I teach on-page, I teach schema, I teach all kinds of different things around on-page. And I also have a second agency, which is strictly white label. So we have a large white label. I take care of about 20 something agencies and they're on all their sites. So yeah, been a fun ride. It's the funnest business we've had out of the 3. Nobody asking me when their house is going to flip, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Terry, this is fantastic. The experience you bring, like I said, it's in alignment with our other speakers. We're bringing a lot of people that can bring tremendous perspective, people that have scaled agencies, that are running multiple businesses, that can kind of blend experiences from these other businesses back into this and these learning experiences. So Terry is going to be in the VIP session. for us, right? He's going to be presenting on some on-page stuff, and there's some takeaways. We consistently try to have these kind of like special sessions in our VIP areas. But talk to us a little bit about what you're going to be teaching us during the VIP session, Terry.
The biggest thing is the last 4 algorithm updates have all been around content. So whether it be the helpful content, whether it be eat, whether it be all the different variables. So I'm going to be talking about how to master on page, or how to get a better grip on page, especially with AI. I actually think on page is going to become even more scrutinized because of AI, right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm going to talk a little bit about how we use AI for content that Google seems to love. And then we're going to talk about the importance of schema and how schema ties all that in together. So Google, Yahoo, Bing better understand your content before it even gets to the actual page. So I'm kind of bringing the SEO element to it, to the group. Obviously, I'll be there the whole time and happy to talk about anything. Just more excited to learn from you guys. So, but that's basically it.
Awesome. And Terry, I think you have some like templates and stuff that people can go, like all the VIPs are going to go away with this so that they can take this stuff. Hey, we're going to get educated on it. We're going to have takeaways and like practical stuff we can do, especially around AI. But there's also some stuff that they're going to leave with that is going to kind of be the fast forward button on them taking advantage of it. Can you just talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I'm gonna give away. I only do this every so often, and mostly at the events I like. But I'm gonna give away my schema templates, which are constantly updated. I have people full time doing nothing but schema and testing, and so I'm going to be giving those away, and I'll also be talking a little bit of how to work in the templates, and then we'll talk a little bit of how to stack templates and how to stack schema, and really do some incredible stuff with. Schema is my favorite thing I've come across in the past, I don't know, 8 or 9 years. So because we have found we can do so much with it.
Yeah, Terry, I think it's my opinion. Maybe you agree from coaching people that schema for a lot of people is it's just kind of this like side dish that we don't pay a lot of attention to. That is maybe like this forsaken child, but the way you use it and the way you've talked about it and the results that you have seen are like, hey, there's actually a tremendous amount of benefit that we can get if we dial this in correctly. I would love to hear your take on that and your perspective on how people view it and like what your experience has shown you that's different.
Well, there's a big, huge difference. Okay, so there's plugin schema, and then there's advanced schema, my schema, whatever you want to call it. Plugin schema is just what it has to work with, and that's typically what's on the page. You might give it some social media accounts and it puts some stuff together, whatever. Our schema actually goes out and ties in everything about a person, place, thing, topic, brand into one concluded area. So when you look and see and you do a brand and you search Terry Samuels SEO, there is a ton of stuff out there about me. So it makes sense in schema to bring all those URLs into one spot on my page that's about me. And now my schema, and now Google, Yahoo, or Bing goes to my page. They see the schema that, oh, here's his 15 videos about schema. Here's his, talks he's done about schema. Here's his awards he's won, all the different things. And I don't say that to brag. It's just an easy example. So when you think about that in a brand concept of bringing everything in there is about the brand into your schema, Google, Yahoo, Bing, Yandex, sometimes they don't have to work for it. They don't have to fight for it. You're bringing it all in and showing them and stacking it to where exactly you want it to be. So they pretty much know what your web page is about because it's per page then before they even get to the content. So I'm going to show you guys some secrets about schema. If you're nice, I might even show you an entire website that I built 4 years ago with just schema. There is no public content on this website at all. And it ranks for a bunch of terms, number 1. So I'll show you how and why schema is important. And if you do it right and take the time to do it right, then it will help you out in your rankings tenfold.
That's fantastic. This is exactly what I want for you guys. Is like, hey, let's get the prospecting methods in here. Let's get some of the sales experts in here so that we can move things forward in our agency. But I also want to make sure I'm bringing you guys some very high level SEO people, right? Like I said, there is a community of like complete SEO geeks and nerds for like, and I mean that in a loving way, right? They just love to geek out on this stuff. And within that community of the people, what my observation has been is that, Terry is one of the leaders of this community. He's very looked up to, and you can only, and there's a couple other people that are in that same community that have a similar status that view schema the same way. So these are some of the highest level SEO people. If you guys are not diving into schema the way that Terry is mentioning it here, there's untapped gold right here for you guys that can move the dial without, like, this is very, like, there's some work involved in it, but relative to going out and like, let's build all this content and let's create all these backlinks and like, let's be a snake charmer to make this thing finally rank. We can just do some on-page stuff and we can get some gold immediately, right? And this is guaranteed benefit. Like, hey, is this backlink going to work? Like, is this the right content? We always think like we're moving in the right direction. We can make some very educated guesses. There's no gamble here, right? This is just going to make it easier for Google to understand your stuff. So Terry, I'm very, I'm like, after every one of these speakers talk, I get pretty wound up here. I'm really excited to have you come out here and share some of your brilliance and kind of like give us a different angle, bring some of this SEO stuff to it. So Terry, you got the chance to interact with Monic a little bit at the last, I think about the last couple of events. And I just like, Monic's not here. A lot of you guys, the guys that were at the last event got to see Monic, but can you just kind of like, what was your experience like with Monic and like his knowledge and skills for he's not here to represent himself.
Well, that's okay. We can talk shit about him. That's fine. No, he's one of my favorite new people. I just met him a few months ago. I don't know if it was in Vegas or before Vegas, but either way, we struck up a relationship. I got his software immediately. I'm a huge software guy, and I'm always looking away. Typical agency, I'm always looking away to have less software and spend, less money each month. So I really fell in love with his software. I got to talk to him one-on-one about his software. He's very customer focused, super smart guy. You can make suggestions, especially we're both super technical, so I can make suggestions that he actually understands compared to some other SaaS people I've talked to. But anytime I can spend time with him is just gold for me. I think a lot of us are going to be in TNC next week. So we'll get to see each other in Vegas also. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him again and spending some quality time. I've really only kind of seen him in pieces. He wasn't, and when we saw him in Boston, I know he was with family a lot up there. So I'm really looking forward to spending some quality time with him in Orlando and just picking his brain. Just, what else is up there that I don't know that, he can help me or I can help him or we can help each other type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm fortunate. Monic has become, one of my best friends. I just spent a couple of weeks skiing with him in Aspen and Breckenridge. And, a lot of our conversations go towards business, go towards SEO, apart from being like an amazing human being. Like he spends a ton of time in charity. He spends a ton of time giving back and trying to help people. Like you said, one of the most brilliant minds that I've ever met. And it's, for a long time for me, just kind of like bouncing around where it's like, hey, we've got a bunch of real estate. We've got the agency. We've got the software company. We had Airbnbs, and I can connect like separately to like, okay, this is like my agency family. This is my software family. And it was fantastic to find somebody that is so knowledgeable on so many different things that had a tremendous amount of overlap. And this, like for me, at the last TNC event, we had a booth, or 2 TNC events ago, we had a booth. And, we didn't, I think the demographic at TNC didn't hit with our software the way that I wanted it to. There's a lot of e-com stuff there. There's a lot of great people. The big takeaway for me from that event was the relationship with Monik, right? So when you guys are considering this and you're looking at all the different like value engines that could justify you coming to an event, for me, that was like, he's become one of my closest friends in the world, right? We're talking and we're like, oh, you have it. Like I was talking to him about his agency. And we spent like 45 minutes talking about his agency. And then I realized he had a software company. And I was like, oh my God, like we both have agencies and software companies. That was really the first person I knew that shared that. Then we both had Airbnbs in Vegas. And then, we're like, oh, like, what do you do for fun? Oh, I'm really into boating and golf. We're like, both of us. I was like, Monik, where do you live? He's like, oh, I live in South Florida. It's like, I'm in South Florida. It's like, I'm in Jupiter. I'm also in Jupiter. Like, it was just like, this is what happens when you put yourself at an event, because so much has to be true for people to come to an event like this, right? We're entrepreneurs. That narrows it down to like, 12% of people are going to be business owners, but only a small percentage of those people that are business owners are actually the ones that are seeking self-improvement, community, connection, right? All of that's, we're marketers, we're digital marketers, we're in the same space, right? So coming to events, this is my favorite part of it, right? We're going to leave with some amazing value and connections. But like Serena said at the beginning of the call, being a part of the community, like she would have never been comfortable reaching out to me had she not been at that event and us connected there with like, hey, now I'm struggling in this spot later in my life, and I need to be like some direction, right? And having somebody that you can trust and count on it's hard to do that when the entirety of our relationship is on a flat screen over Zoom. So I encourage you, like the real relationships and friendships happen. Like, I got a soft spot in my heart for Paul Myers. Like we had been friends online for a while, but we had a lunch together in San Diego. When was that, Paul? 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 4 years ago?
Yeah, 3 or 4.
3 years ago. Time flies when you're not in Canada. So anyways, like we had an amazing lunch, and like that relationship, it accelerated because we got to spend some time in person. Do you agree?
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's a part of this, guys. Like, these events foster that stuff. So Terry Samuels, thank you so much. Really, really excited to hang out with you, get to spend more time with you in person. And I'm excited to have you and your energy infused into this group. I'm going to share one story before we go on to Casey and kind of like talk about what he's going to be bringing to the table. I was at an SEO event in Las Vegas, and like in this group of these like SEO maniacs, right? Where it's just like they live, breathe, eat, sleep SEO all the time. And this topic of like negative SEO came up, and it went on way longer than it should have, in my opinion, because it's like, let's not encourage negative SEO. I think this is terrible. You can destroy someone's business with this. And, I was getting ready. Like I was not up on stage. I was in the crowd, and I've kind of like got my hand up, and then Terry speaks up and he said like, hey, why are you guys doing negative SEO in the first place? And for me at that point, Terry was like just another one of the people that was there. And that was a transition point for me where he showed his integrity and like what he cares about and what he values, because in this like SEO world, there can be a lot of competition, and there can be a lot of like, hey, I want to succeed with this at all place. But to have somebody that can have the skill set and keep the integrity is important. And that really, Terry, that created a ton of love for me towards you. And it told me who you were. And I like, this is why I'm comfortable with having you. Like this community is it's very protected from like outside wolves. Right. And just like, I will not have negative stuff coming in. And it just meant a lot to me. And I just want to like paint the table of who Terry is and where his value system is. He showed it. He stood up in front of everyone. And like, to be honest, he lost his shit a little bit with the way this conversation was going, because he was pissed off about this. And that spoke volumes to see that passion. So thank you for that. And like, I love that. That's where your heart is, man. I just love that about you.
My biggest pet peeve. You don't want to piss me off. Let's talk negative SEO.
Yeah.
Just doing business is hard enough. Why make it hurt people?
Absolutely. So
if you're not good at it, get out of the freaking game.
That's right. Like level up. Don't go and stab somebody in the back. Like figure out how
Yep.
we can, you don't see well, maybe you do, like you don't see racers like they're lining up on the line and their strategy to win the race is not to like stab somebody in the thigh. It's like, hey, let me go do some more reps. Let me like eat better. Let me make myself better. So it's not always obvious in life that this negative stuff is going on in the SEO world. Stuff can happen and we don't understand why stuff tanks. And I think this goes hand in hand with your experience in forensics. So I want to make sure we keep moving here though. So guys, mansionmastermind.com. That's where this is. Mansionmastermind.com is where you can get the tickets.
Masterminds with an S.
Mansionmasterminds.com. That's where we can get the tickets if you guys are interested in more information. But before we do that, let's go over to Casey. So Casey and I are in another group together. Casey, I kept hearing the kind of legend of Casey and his ability to help agencies land clients, right? I did quite a bit of research on Casey before I made this decision. I tested out his services. I've talked to multiple other people who tested out his services. I interacted with him in real life. I wanted to like understand who this person was before I introduce him and bring him into our community. So Casey, how you doing, man? Welcome to the call.
Good. Let me kick things off, man. Just after hearing everybody speak, just so humbled to even be in the conversation right now. Very, very grateful to be a part of this group and hopefully add some value here at the event. So yeah, but I'm doing great.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, I think you're going to bring tremendous value. So Casey, what's your bread and butter?
We do white label Facebook ads. That's the core of what we do. Focused, exclusively on the Facebook ad side. It was something that I felt was kind of missing in the marketplace for agencies to have somebody that they can actually trust to do Facebook ads at the highest level possible. Most of the white label providers that are out in existence right now, it's a tack on, bolt on service that they kind of know how to do and get by, and their agency partners that they work with, they're getting bottom of the barrel scrapings of what's left in their hour bank, essentially on the production board. So we chose to flip that on its head and provide Facebook ads at the highest level possible to agencies.
Awesome. So that kind of like providing Facebook ads to agencies kind of falls into two buckets. One bucket is like helping agencies like connect with their ideal customer avatar, right?
Yeah, that's a majority of what we do. So but we also work with a ton of agencies in the home services world and then run ads for their clients as well. So, but we kind of took a different approach where I'm an impact guy. That's what I'm big on, and very close to local business. And it's been a part of everything that I do for almost 20 years now. And I realized that working with agencies, if I can help agencies get clients, then those clients can also become my clients. And I think kind of taking the approach of helping the agency first is something that I've never seen in the white label space. And that was really kind of where we wanted to position ourselves, is like, well, let's help the agency get their stuff dialed in first and get their client acquisition coming. And the rest will just fall downstream from there. And we'll be able to service their clients as they grow. And that was the whole thought process.
Awesome. Yeah. So this, I 100% agree with you. It's very hard to find somebody who kind of like treats the white label business like it's their own business, right?
Yeah.
Somebody that's going to prioritize your needs. And I've seen from like what we've had in our test running, like a lot of opportunities coming in. And like I said, I've heard it from probably like, we're probably going on like 24 referrals now at this point of like, we have a large friend circle that overlaps. So, this has allowed me to do my like spy technology and kind of do more research to make sure everything is how it is. The responsiveness is fantastic. The way your team has it set up, guys, we're going to have a deal for you guys that you're not going to be able to get on your own through this. And I believe, Casey, you're going to walk people through how to kind of set this up at our event and how they can run this. It can be hard to manage this. And guys, there's things that you want to do on your own, and there's things that you don't want to do, right? They're like, and that can be for different reasons, right? For instance, like I don't cut my grass. I know how to, but I'm also not going to like change out my electrical box because I don't want to get shocked, even though I could probably like figure it out, shut everything down. Like I just don't, there's experts out there who are fantastic at this stuff. And there's one thing about setting up ads, but really where the beauty comes in, it's an adjustment game, right? Is like, how is it? What are we seeing back? How do we tweak that? How do we tweak it again? How do we tweak it again? It doesn't cost it doesn't take many conversions when you're running an agency that focuses on which, like if you guys are doing things right, you should be at least at $1,000 a month for your clients. Like a tweak on landing a prospect like that will cover your ads like indefinitely, right? And when you set things up correctly and you get all the pieces that follow the ad in place correctly, then your ability to scale your agency goes through the roof, right? I've spoke about this multiple times as like, we have to focus on prospecting. You've got to get your pipeline stuff dialed in because this allows you to solve other big problems in your agency, right? So there's not a lot of problems that more money can't solve in an agency, and landing more clients is going to be the pathway to a lot of those. So, Casey, what else do you want to add? What else are you going to share at this event? Like why should people come for this presentation?
Yeah, I mean, I've been where a lot of you guys are at, and building my agency, going from kind of like a legacy generalist agency and finding my groove and finding my niche, working with other agency owners in the white label space has been extremely transformative for me. And I feel like we kind of unlocked the cheat code about 3 months ago, and I've 5x'd my agency in 3 months. So working with the way that we've been able to craft our offer and the way that we've been able to structure these campaigns for these agencies. And like you said, I mean, we're talking dozens of referrals just to you. I mean, that kind of word of mouth stuff on the back end for us has been extremely powerful. So I'm going to talk to you guys about simplifying your service, because I think that's a really important part of what I've been able to do, and setting yourself up for scale. I'm like deep in the middle of scaling right now. So I just hired my 17th employee. We, like I said, 5x'd our revenue over 3 months. And 2024 is going to be one hell of a year. So, if there's anything I can do to help you guys do that for yourself, whether it's, hiring a remote team and, kind of figuring out the dynamics of what that looks like, stuff like that is stuff that I'm super deep in right now. So, definitely going to be covering a lot of that.
That's fantastic. I think this is I think it's going to be a super valuable presentation for people. Like we're hitting this from different angles, right? We've got sales people in here. We've got prospecting strategies. We've got the mental part of it. We've got the SEO pieces. Like it's going to, like you guys have heard from a couple people from the beginning of this and the value that they received. This is that value. This is going to be the next version of that for those of you guys that attend and get to experience this. You're going to feel this. For those of you that don't, you're going to get to hear and feel the sincerity of how these, like Serena, of how this impacted their business and has changed parts of their life towards this. So we're running a little bit late. We're already at 1 hour and 22 minutes, but Casey, super excited to have you here, man, and have you kind of like be a part of this community and spend time. I think you're going to have a fantastic time at this event. I'm just going to share a little bit more. So if you guys are interested, this is not some sort of scarcity tactic. This isn't a mansion. Mansions have limitation on how many people can be in the mansion, right? So there is going to be a limit of what we can get in there. Last time we sold out of the VIP stuff, I think within the first 2 or 3 hours. I'm not sure where we are with that now. You guys can go to mansionmasterminds.com. I am having a hard time finding the Zoom controls to share my screen. I'm going to take you guys through this. So basically the way this event is going to work is Thursday is going to be a meet and greet at the mansion. We have a bartender coming in, and we're going to have some drinks there. We're going to hang out. I encourage all of you guys, like bring your swimsuits to this event if you're showing up, because there's a lazy river in the backyard. And we will have Friday and Saturday are going to be kind of like speakers throughout the days, as well as kind of like some networking pieces in there. There's going to be a lot of time for you guys to get together. We're catering everything. So lunch and dinner. Then I think there's a VIP dinner only. I believe that is on Friday. So that will be the VIP and the Rank Masters. Sunday morning, we will have a VIP session. So we're going to have a VIP session on Thursday afternoon and on Sunday morning. So there's going to be a ton of value poured into the VIP stuff here for this. Sunday, I think it's going to start about 2:00. We're going to have a pool party at this mansion, you guys. But what happened last time is there was like pool parties breaking out every night, right? Sundays will be different because we will have a bartender on staff. We're going to have catered food. We're going to have a DJ. This house is absolutely amazing. We last session, we rented so this guy's got kind of a pretty wild story. Came over from like Ghana with $11 in his pocket, and now he has these multi-million-dollar mansions. This mansion is 20 bedrooms. There's a bowling alley inside of the mansion. There's a basketball court in there, a number of other amenities. There's a theater inside the lazy river in the backyard that goes around it. For some reason, Zoom controls don't seem to exist right now. Does anybody have any advice on how I could get these to show
Push
up?
escape.
Escape. Negative.
Negative. Usually when I hide the
Oh, I got it.
control.
I got it.
Mm.
There we go. Escape worked. All right,
Right.
let's just walk through and talk. Let's just check this thing out. So this is the VIP Hollywood experience. I'll share this in the chat with you guys. All right, you guys can go through this and check this out. Actually, I'll post that in just a second. All right, so this is what we're working with. This place, if you guys were at our last event, this place is next door. That's what the backyard looks like. We got a theater here, lazy river, hot tub. We got a bar over here. This is one of the coolest houses I think you'll ever be in. And to have an event in a place like this, it's just kind of like hard to explain it until you're there. This little robot right here will AI. They will be I don't know what they will do. I actually don't have any idea what this is. I was trying to come up with a cool joke, couldn't come to me, but we got this robot here. This is a VIP Hollywood experience. So every room in here is kind of like themed towards something. Maybe somebody knows what that woman on the pillow represents. There is a lot of cool stuff in here, right? Space pods. So there's Lion King. This is a fantastic venue. So we could not have it go any other way than returning back to this place. So really excited for you guys to experience this, for us to hang out here and to kind of like feel the community, the amazing value that we're going to bring to you guys here. I've got a couple minutes here to answer some questions if anybody has them. It looks like Janeri's trying to call the Oompa Loompa room. Some of these rooms, just kind of looking through them, they like, it could be the wrong room to wake up if you're prone to nightmares. I think there's like a Terminator room. There's Jaws on the wall behind you. Like, hey,
hopefully there's not a clown room. There's not a clown room.
There's no clown room. We can get you
Hopefully
a clown
not.
room, Jeff.
No, I'm good. That's
All right.
definitely not what I want.
Who has any questions on here? I know we're almost at an hour and a half since we started. We have obviously a ton of stuff to pack into here. Any questions on this event or what to expect? No. All right. Before we jump off here, I'll give you guys a couple minutes while we just have a couple people share here. I see Miss Ala G on here. Ala, I'd love to hear if you could just share with people who are considering, whether they're on this call or watching on Facebook later on, you can share with some of the people, what was your experience like last time or the last couple times? And what would you tell somebody who's considering it?
It's unexpectedly amazing. Like it's not like you're going for a conference. You're actually going to meet and see friends again. And it's just an amazing experience because these people are my friends now. And it's just a different way of meeting each other. Like we hug and we sit and we talk. It's not a typical conference, and you walk away with friends. So it's an amazing event.
Awesome. Are you excited? Ala?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I know it's been kind of like for a lot of us, there's ups and downs that are going on in our life. And sometimes we need a little momentum reset, no matter where we are, no matter like there's people that are coming to this event that they're not in, they don't own agencies. They've just kind of like heard from somebody else that was here that's like, I want to be around this. I want to be around other entrepreneurs. I want that mental reset for this, right? We're obviously have a lot of agency focus with what we're doing here, but just being in the room with positive energy can be a fantastic reset on you to get momentum, building those friendships, the relationships that we have, like our ability to succeed. There's a correlation between the diversity of people. So we have people from other countries coming. We have people from different industries, with completely different backgrounds. So guys, we will post the link in there. It's first come, first serve on the tickets. You guys are a part of the Rank Masters community. Make sure that you guys get your tickets. We obviously, as part of that coaching group, you guys have a special discount in there. You're automatically upgraded to the VIPs. We've got a lot of swag stuff that we're ordering for you guys. There's a lot of moving parts going on here with this like next event coming up. We're really excited for it. I don't see any questions popping in here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this call, and I really hope that you guys are going to join us at this next event. So February 1st through 4th, it's just outside of Orlando. Amazing speakers, fantastic community at one of the coolest venues you'll ever see. So you guys have an awesome week, and yeah, hit us up if you guys have any questions. Look forward to seeing all you guys in person in about a month. Adios, everybody. Thank you to all the speakers. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you guys soon.